Diamond in the Rough Olympic 2022. Let's get into it. This is the race schedule plan of events. That's what it was last year. I'm assuming it's the same. So Friday, 5 to 7, pick up with the briefing at 6. Saturday, pretty standard stuff. They tell you to arrive no later than 6. If you do park inside the park, you will be trapped until the last cyclist finishes. So if you do plan to get out of there early, just keep that in mind on race day. And there is a list of times for the other important stuff. Some of the cutoff times here: swim is an hour, bike 3 hours, run got to finish before 4 hours. The swim, it's a TT start. Water temperature is taken race morning and typically the day before during the race briefings, and it will be announced at both conveniently. That is a mistake. There's not a 10-minute walk to the swim start, but there is a time trial start that is there here. So again, this is a slide from another one, but it is a time trial start, and the swim is going to be a clockwise 2-loop course right here. Sun will be coming up from the right there, and it will be a little bit difficult to see, especially coming back into the finish line. That's going to be the biggest trouble for you from a sun perspective standpoint area. There is a little bit of a current in this river, so keep that in mind when you are out there on race day. I don't know if it's going to be going in or out, but you are going to have struggles going one of those ways, and by the second loop you should have it figured out. Temperature, again, announced before the race starts and on the race briefing. We're kind of around wetsuit legal temperatures right now, so I would bring it just in case, unless we do have a couple of really, really hot stretches coming up here. There might be jellyfish. Draft as you can, and it is going to be crowded on the second loop. There's just no way around it, and the start is not super chaotic there. So again, this swim, we're just going to dive in a little bit deeper here, but not too much because it's a pretty straightforward swim. Again, the current's one of two ways, so you're going to be struggling, and you might have a little backwash off to the side over here depending on where it's going. So that means you're going to have dirty water right there, which is not the worst to be swimming in. First turn right here and second turn are going to be the most crowded out on course for your wave. When they do release the other ones, if you are overlapping, then you are going to experience the same thing right through here as well. Athletes bunching up in these two corners right here. Just make sure you turn and you know where the other sighting buoy is. Get there, and then you're going to have some clean water to shoot for right through here. It's going to be right about at this point right here, the last kind of marking buoy right here, where athletes start to blow up on the Olympic if they've gone out a little bit too hard, which means if you are drafting off of people up until that point, you're going to be in a much better spot than most because you'll just be able to slot around them, and that's probably the game plan on the course like this. Selections are going to start pretty early on, but they will definitely happen by this point right here. So if you think that you need to go to another group, go for it, and don't be forced to hold yourself back. When you are coming out of the water, you're going to want to start kicking a little bit more at this sighting buoy, this marking buoy, or this marking buoy right here, just to get some of that blood returning back into your legs for the bike. The bike, a 1-loop course. They even say this course is not for beginners, so keep that in mind. There's a lot of twists and turns here, and they even mark out a couple of really sharp turns here, and you can see off to the side, I marked out the first one that you'll experience right up here at the top of the course, and the last one right down here. But if you're looking at a lot of these turns right through here, they are very, very sharp. Some of them are past 90 degrees. So you won't be able to fly through them, which means you'll have to get up to speed as fast as possible. So in a like the start right through here, it's a tough start, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. But it is a tough start, and it just keeps coming at you until it doesn't, and then it comes back. 1,200 feet of climbing out on this course. Be ready for surges like we talked about in and out of those corners. Just control your surges. Don't overdo it. There's no need to totally attack those corners every single time. If you do, you're going to pay the price, because I think there's something like 19 turns on this course. There's a lot. I classify this as kind of bumpier terrain, and breaking it up into 4 sections definitely helps me, and this is kind of a breakdown of those 4 sections. So your effort level should be rising for the first, let's call it 10 miles out on this course, but you shouldn't arrive here on your limit. You shouldn't arrive here just totally shattered. You should arrive here at a pretty good rate of speed, rate of power, and then you should be ready to work for this second section. This is going to be the least technical area out on course and probably the fastest area as well. There are a couple of turns mixed in there, so it's not just all fun and games there. And then third section right through here, right about mile 19 to, I believe, 21.5-ish. This is going to be the last place where you're going to be able to put major time on people. Another one is section number 2. This is probably the most critical point out on course. Section number 3 right through here, where you can do it one last time, because the speed is going to be relatively high coming back in, and like we talked about before, the turns you went out of the park, you're going to have to go back in the exact same way. So it's a tough start and a tough finish. I put arrow position up here with a question mark because there's only really a couple places where you're going to be in that arrow position. If you find that you're actively forcing yourself to be in there and you're going below 14, 13 miles an hour, probably not worth it, in my opinion. This course really does have it all. There are no aid stations. That's the only thing that it doesn't have. And mile markers are going to come probably every 5 miles. And I don't know if we talked about it before, but there's going to be about 6 bikes in a rack, 3 facing each way. So it's first come, first serve. And this is the bike. So this is the typical power profile of what you're usually seeing out on a course like this. Again, you can kind of see the 4 different sections over here. The power is just steadily rising through here. And once you get to the top, this is that blue elevation chart that we have right here. And once you get to the top over here, your power does drop, but your speed should be increasing, and you should be steadily holding that speed and power throughout here. That's why I'm telling you, arrive at the top ready to work, because this next couple of sections over here, you're actually going to view section 2 and 3, probably the flat section to the hilly section right through there. You're going to view that as one long interval. Those trainer workouts are going to come in handy right through here, because just when you want to stop is going to be where you'll be able to put some space between you and your competitors. That is to say that all of that doesn't matter unless you don't continue to put the power out or keep that rate of speed up for the finish for the last couple of miles. Power should still be high, but I call this a controlled high power right through here. This is where you're still going fast, but you're thinking about what's going on in the transition area, because we are out onto the run. After you look at some of the typical bike penalties right here, there's going to be a lot of bunching up on this course, especially around the twisty turning technical parts. And if you do, I don't believe we talked about that. The last section that I'm going to talk about is because of the sharp turns, if someone does go down, there's really nowhere for you to go. So keep your head on a swivel out on this course. Positioning is going to be very, very tough, and illegal passes, you will see those, but make sure you are not doing that and staying on the right side of that center line, otherwise you will get caught. The run course, it is a 2-loop head course, no headphones, out and back, flat course. You could have some shade out there. Don't forget your bib. The big tendency out on this course is to start out way too fast. Way, 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 way too fast. You'll be all hopped up from the bike course that you just did, and the first 2, probably the first out and back if you're doing the Olympic, the first out and back really does sucker people into going way, way, way too hard. So watch your power, watch your heart rate, watch your pace, watch all the pieces to your puzzle over there. And if you do have to walk on this course, make sure you are walking on some of these short, steep uphills. It's a great place to take a break. You're going to be losing the most time if you walk on the downhill, so keep that in the back of your head. And hopefully you'll be running to a race day podium or personal best. I wish you guys the best of luck, and let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk more individually.